Hey everyone, I'm Shane Stevenson, Director of Museum Collections and Curator here at the Buffalo Naval Park. The video you're about ready to watch is about a 2-week video where we would take different days and see what's going on the USS The Sullivans. Alright, so you can see when they first started, they were right at the blade right here. Now they've moved probably to about frame 50 or 55. And this video will show multiple updates over about a 2-week period. So I hope you enjoy. All right, we've learned some things. We've had to adjust some things, as you'll see, but it's all a learning process to keep this 78-year-old girl afloat. I hope you enjoy. Hello everyone, Shane Stevenson, Director of Museum Collections and Curator here. With me is Andrew Biondo, who's the caretaker of the Sullivans, and he has been keeping a very watchful eye on the inside of the ship while the company is doing the work on the outside. So originally what they were doing is they were using a high pressure hose and shooting some very coarse material. We were told it's kind of like coal, like broken up coal or charcoal. Someone suggested they were walnut shells, but so they were blasting that along the hull to get rid of all the zebra mussels. We've now been told that they're using kind of like an abrasive wire brush. All right, and we've seen a couple of those sitting on their decks and their barges. And Andrew, as I mentioned, has been very vigilant. That's the word, right?
Diligent.
Diligent?
Diligent.
Yeah, he's been very diligent. Oh, that's weird. In paying attention to where, as they're moving aft along the port side hull, where they may have sprung leaks. So he has noticed today that there was 5 leaks sprung in O division, a couple in first division, 1 in the anchor windlass, and 1 in the near the peak.
Yeah, right in front of the chain locker.
Right in front of the chain locker. All right, so we're gonna.
And that's where the original first hole was.
Yes, that was one they popped about 2 weeks ago. That they did put a temporary patch on. So we're going to take the camera down into these various areas, the sonar rooms, the forward bulkhead in O division here, and we are now on the 3rd deck, so 2 decks below the main deck, right around frame 26, probably leading to frame 30 something, maybe. All right, so follow me. Enough of that. We'll check it out. Well, everyone, we are down below O division, and the compartment we're in right now was for the 5-inch, one of the storage and handling areas for the 5-inch. I'm looking at the hoist right here, and so this is where the shells to the 5-inch 38 would have been stored. The Mount 51 and Mount 52 would have been stored. And just forward of here, again, was another stowage area for the armaments. And the hedgehogs would have been stored here, and small arms as well. So again, underneath the berthing, now we're on 4th deck, or 4th platform, or 1st platform maybe. We're in the storage areas for the munitions. All right, and what we'll see here is right in here, if you can see that, we have some standing water. Now that usually is pretty dry. Forget this garbage can. Let's move that out of the way. Good, so you probably see that the garbage can there is floating. There might be about 8 inches of water in here. And this usually is empty. But what we're thinking is when water is forward, we're probably again around frame 30 or so, that when water comes in forward, it sinks the bow and the blade a little bit, and then somewhere that allows water to come in to this space. Now if I be quiet, you might be able to hear the grinding against the port hull. And it just stopped. I can now hear the bubbles from the diver, and there it starts again. So we are almost in the same area that the diver is in the water, and thankfully, looking at the port side hull, seems pretty dry other than this. So this might not be a leak or springing a leak per se. It might be just coming when the bow does go deeper underwater. There might be something that triggers some release of Buffalo River water into this space. All right, so we're going to head a little bit forward, and we're going to head check out the sonar room underneath First Division. So let's check it out. Just forward of where we were with in the handling room, we're now at around frame 25 underneath First Division berthing, and I'm in the sonar room. And again, we're getting closer to hearing the diver with the grinder, so to speak, that abrasive wire brush. But they did spring a leak in here. A couple of years ago, we did get down in here into the sonar room and down below, right to the hold and the keel. And we did patch it up, and it's been pretty dry ever since, right? So Andrew, again, caretaker of the Sullivans, saw some water in here pouring over the lip, right there, like it is, and down below. And so we think they've placed a temporary patch there because it is not leaking, but we have about 3 inches of water here. So again, at about frame 25 in the sonar room here on the Sullivans, we did have some water 2, 3, 4 inches deep, and then traveling through the hatch down into the hold, bilge, and keel spaces. We're going to continue moving forward, and we're just going to go forward of this compartment, staying in First Division berthing. We'll see you there. All right, so you have seen this space before. When we were working in the anchor windlass, and we had to travel all the way down to the bilge and the hold spaces near the keel. We also came here, which is just aft of the anchor windlass, and you saw us drop this little cute little, what I call the bumblebee pump down here. We had some leaking with a manifold that's underneath this table structure right there. All right, so there you see it. And that leaks like the space 2 spaces ago in O Division, that when the bow and the blade begin to sink as water comes on board farther forward, it sinks this manifold and then it releases the water to come into this space. Also, as they're working on port over here, this is where the leak that they sprung with their brushing was right around that area there. But you can see this is now a lot of water, right? We had this pumped out dry, and we now are looking at about 2 feet of water. Would you say, Andrew, it's about 2 feet?
Roundabout.
And then it's flooded the hold down below that in the keel, and now it's overflowed into this first platform here. So I'm not going to climb down there, but you'll see that this will be a space that when the work is done, and when they've moved farther aft, we're going to have to get the pump back in here and pump it out through the overboard dump right there on starboard. Let's keep moving forward. Well, here we are now at frame 6. All right, so we started out at about 30, moved to 25, moved to 22. Now we're at frame 6. On the third deck is the anchor windlass, which we've seen before. We've had to climb down there and patch on starboard. We did a temporary patch. Just aft of here that you see is the chain locker. All right, thankfully that's pretty dry. There's some standing water, but it's been like that for years. And now what we see, from what Andrew, the caretaker, says, there's always some water in here, about 1 inch or 2, but now we are looking potentially at about 3 feet of water. Again, so as you can hear, He's right here. He's again grinding. So we think they've patched this up. We think they've done some patching to this because we don't see any current leaking going on. But again, as they move out, we're going to have to get the pumps out here and pump it out. We're going to head towards the peak. All right, let's roll.
And this is where the original hole that they made was, and now it's patched again. Still recording, but the battery's in low.
Okay. So you're saying still recording? Well, as you can see, we are now in the peak of USS The Sullivans. And down this hatch right here, obviously he's working right there. And this goes all the way down, and we don't see any current leaking. That's a good thing, so we don't see any current leaking. But you see the peak now. And so again, they're working on port, working aft. So when everything goes, we're gonna have to seal these up. Right, that's enough for now. We'll talk to you later. Thank you very much. This is a few weeks after, a couple weeks after the original update earlier in the video. I went to the HINSA conference in Mobile, Alabama. That was fabulous, and I come back to some issues again on the Sullivans. So to kind of recap here, right, we're having some work done. The company BIDCO Marine Group, has hit some snafus, but that's kind of normal for the work here. The original video, just that you'll see just prior to this, is in First Division and O Division on the third deck of USS The Sullivans, our Fletcher class. But they have begun outside to move aft on port. And so that now is opening up the aft bulkhead of O Division, where a handling room is on the fourth deck, or the first platform, and into the mess deck. So we've had a little emergency here, and we're going to take a look. We're going to take a walk through. Okay, so we are now in O Division.
On this side? No. Starboard? They're working on port. Okay. Yeah, maybe I'm just looking. You're seeing a reflection because
what we're seeing is
right over there, which is where you can see.
This is the forward bulkhead of O Division, and can't really see it that well, but the water is right up to the first rung of the ladder. So this is a serious breach here in the port side, hull into this area right at the forward bulkhead of O Division. So you'll see where the water is with that. You could probably hear some of the work being done outside. Now we're heading aft in O Division as well. The handling room is down below, and here, Andrew Biondo, caretaker of the Sullivans. He's working hard, and you will see that this is a space that we don't have open, but people can peek down the little hatch here, and again, you can see where the water level is right here. You could probably see right there are a couple of the projectiles that are completely covered. We have some projectiles on the wall, completely covered.
How's the flow coming out?
And that is coming from down below. There's another scuttle there and a hatch. And it's coming and it filled up. Andrew, when would you say this filled up?
Today?
Just today?
Yes.
So you were here yesterday and
it was completely dry.
Completely dry. So yeah, there's again another major breach going on here. We have Stephen here, the caretaker of the Little Rock. He's also here for the sister ship, Little Rock sister ship, and of course Alan Jordan, maintenance foreman. And we are all hands on deck here. We started, these are like the little tiny bumblebee pumps, right?
Yes.
Yes, okay, so we don't have the 80-pound pump down here.
It's just a full.
So we are beginning to pump both of the sections out that you saw, but this is a serious damage control.
And there is a forward storage compartment right in front of this that filled up as well.
So there's a storage compartment right on port?
Well, it's the hatch going to it is center line. Yeah, just
Okay.
where the where the business has ended is just right on the other side of that.
Gotcha.
So that whole storage compartment is filled too.
Oh shit.
That hatch is open normally.
So yeah, we're getting down from...
Where's water level? It's okay. I'd say it's like about 7 or 8 feet, maybe about 10 feet
Down?
Yeah,
You,
because the
still
bottom,
recording?
because you can see the bottom of the keel
Still recording?
from that, from that
Should I
piece
stop?
there.
Oh, no, when you're ready. Okay.
He's getting ready to press play again.
So is this pump currently on, this hose? Not
That's
yet?
affirmative. It's on.
Oh, it is.
Two hoses going out of one discharge port to pump out both of these spaces right
Are we going to have to start looking at the reefers and things like that now?
now. That would be the next thing, but they haven't gotten that far yet.
Gotcha.
They basically got between frame
Yeah.
30 and 42.
Thank you. And we are in frame what?
Right now we're standing at frame 38.
38. And so this berthing is, what did you say, 28 to
Frame
40?
38 to 42.
Okay, 38 to 42. All right, everyone, so that gives you an idea of the challenges here. So the company BIDCO Marine Group is scraping off the zebra mussels. And again, they're on port, but they've moved aft a little bit. So past the windlass, past first division, and now we're in O division right in front of the mess deck. And we're going to see as they move back that they're creating some serious breaches in the hull that we have to continue to monitor. All right, so we're going to get this pumped out as best as possible, and we'll have an update for you again. 1 week later, same exact spot, O division. Going to look down that lower handling room. Earlier in the video, you saw that it was pretty high, maybe 8 feet or so. That's currently being pumped out. Let's take a look. So if you remember, I showed this. The shells were covered with water. It was up to the second or first rung of the ladder, right about there. And it is currently being pumped out. All right, so we've got a large pump in there from BIDCO Marine Group, the company doing the work. But we were also worried about, as they moved aft through the mess decks, we talked about that, into the steam line in the scullery area, we were worried about, some more holes popping. And let's take a look.
Is she a big Trudeau fan?
She is.
Why? Nutcase too. Well, you know, what am I supposed to do?
I mean, I get it. You look from either side of the pond, but still.
There's another guy running.
Seems a bit commie to me, but
He's
I'm coming outside in.
Just a heads up, you guys.
So what you have seen is they were working now in the mess deck area on port, and there must have been serious steel degradation there. They popped a rather large hole, probably in the reefer compartment, and it flooded up through the mess deck into the steam and chow line, and even then over to starboard where the scullery is and the emergency engine. But we are actually probably taking on a more strong list.
Yes.
Did you get a clinometer out, Andrew?
We're leaning pretty good. That's my clinometer.
That's your clinometer?
Yeah.
We're leaning pretty good.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. So when we started this and we realized we needed the campaign, we were at about a 15-degree list in February. We might have been right back there, but the guys from BIDCO Marine Group are working hard. We are pumping this out, and we are they're working with the diapers and the absorption materials, and we're drying out on the mess deck. Then we're going to go to the steam line. We still have starboard to do, and then they're really going to secure any of those holes down below. We also went into the forward fire room, which is just aft of the steam line and the ladder. There is beginning to get some leaking into there from the forward bulkhead, but we'll have an update for you again soon. Say bye, Andrew.
Hi, Andrew.